Morning everybody, and welcome to today's stream. That should have been yesterday's stream, and I apologize for that. Um, the reason was that I was at the office, and apparently I cannot use my office network to stream. Anyways, today I want to step away a little bit from Scrivener and talk to you about something different, which is mindfulness. And basically, I want to tell you the three ways in which I've benefited from mindfulness training as a writer, as an academic writer, and maybe inspire you to take on mindfulness training as well if this may be something that is useful for you. Let me start by saying that I was and still am very critical of the use of mindfulness in management research and in corporate settings, because the core idea of mindfulness in the management literature is basically that you relax and you sort of develop this Zen attitude towards your context and surroundings, and therefore you don't care about exploitation and so on, and you just manage your stress. And what I think really is really dangerous about that is that stress is not something at work, is not something that people have. It's something that companies and policies and organizations impose on people, and we need to fight that, not learn to live with it and distress. But what I found out during my mindfulness training was that mindfulness is nothing at all like that. There's no relationship between what I learned and any means of reducing mindfulness. If I had to summarize what mindfulness is for me after I went through this training, mindfulness is basically being aware of your behavior and your actions and your feelings instead of living in autopilot. So, and I'm really demanding with myself, and it is really important for me to not to cut myself any slack. So, I used to think that mindfulness is basically I don't need to hit these targets. I don't need to have these nice publications. But no, it's the other way around. It's actually a way of helping you achieve these targets and these very high publication levels. So I'm not a mindfulness trainer, so this is just how I felt and what I learned. On the box here, I think, or here is the website of my trainer. She's based in Portugal, but I think she gives training in English, and I can share her website on the show notes. But it's remindchoice.com all together, and she's basically following the University of Massachusetts and the University of Oxford sort of mindfulness program. So this is the main John Kabat-Zinn created program. So this is, I guess, what you get if you get, it's actually called MBSR, Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction Training. Okay, so let's go to what matters. How did I benefit as an academic writer from mindfulness training, 8 weeks of training, and how can you benefit as an academic writer for mindfulness training? There were three things that were super helpful for me. And I'll start small with the smallest but really important thing, which is you need to train your mind to be aware of what is going on and not being in autopilot. And the way you do this is by training, by doing what most people would call meditation. And variations of meditation, such as body scans, and basically what your training is when you're in silence with your eyes closed, your mind is going to wander. That's normal. The goal is not having your mind wandering, but the goal is to catch your mind when it's wandering and bringing it back to your body or to your breath. Okay, so so basically that's your daily training on mindfulness, like going to the gym, right? You sort of like close your eyes for 20 minutes and you focus on your breath, your mind will wander and you'll bring it back. And this will go on for 20 minutes and that's what you do, that's what you train. Because that allows you to, in your everyday life, to be aware of where your thoughts are going and catch them before they go too far, basically. Now, this exercise has an amazing side effect, at least on me, which is it completely clears my mind. So before doing this mindfulness training, about 2-3 p.m. I couldn't write anymore. So I normally write in the mornings. I can push it until 2-3 p.m., but then I'm done. And basically, if I sit down and do this meditation, mindfulness training for even 10 minutes, my mind is almost reset to the morning. Outside, reset to mid-morning. It resets itself to mid-morning. So I can work for like 1 or 2 hours more and be fine. I cannot it's not like the full reset, so I cannot write for 4 hours. I can write 1 or 2 more hours, but that is insane, right? So I would not be able to do anything useful for writing. Obviously, I have much work from many other things, teaching and so on, but for writing, and now I can do that. So that's the first small benefit. Is just that in your everyday mindfulness training, where you close your eyes and breathe, you as an incidental outcome, you sort of reset your mind. So that's the first thing. The second thing that mindfulness training gave me was it basically allowed me to stop procrastinating, because when you're procrastinating, your mind is going somewhere else. It's tapping into your insecurities as a writer and so on and so forth. In mindfulness, you learn to catch those thoughts and bring them back and take control of them, right? So I now catch myself procrastinating and just bring myself back. So I can work for way more time and far more effectively than before, right? Because again, mindfulness is not about being Zen, it's about you sort of being in the driver's seat of your thoughts. And your mind will always wander, when you're meditating, your mind will always wander, but you just get better and better with training. You just get better and better at catching your mind wandering and bringing it back. Okay, so that's the second thing, and that has just increased my writing time like crazy. Okay. Third, final, a more important thing. As many writers, I get a little bit insecure and anxious about reviews. And something that I do that is really self-sabotaging is it takes me a long time to open review letters, sometimes more than a month. And that's because I'm anxious about the feedback and I feel bad about the feedback. Sometimes I read a review letter, do a review strategy, and then months after I go back to the review letter and realize that I hadn't interpreted it quite well, so that's not good. So how has mindfulness helped me? Well, I recognize this. I recognize this anxiety. And once I was listening to a video by John Kabat-Zinn, who's one of the founders or the founder of the mindfulness training that I got, and he says, when something happens, you just breathe with it. You breathe with it, and I found it that really powerful as a piece of advice. So when the review letters kick in, and I feel anxious and I don't want to read them, I just breathe with that feeling. It's not about, having that disappear. It doesn't disappear. It's still there. I recognize it and say, look, how funny. Here's this feeling again. And then I breathe with that feeling and I go and open the review letter. So that has really, really helped. And I, have small bits of anxiety with other things. And I really found this idea of breathing with your anxiety, breathing with your fears, super helpful. So again, to summarize, still big skeptic of mindfulness as it is represented of reducing stress when your company has horrible processes. That's wrong. Do not do that. Fight. Don't breathe. Fight. There. Okay. But that's not the mindfulness that I learned. What I learned is about recognizing your feelings, recognizing your reactions, breathing with them, and not let those reactions control what you do. Okay? The anxiety is still there, doesn't go away, but it's just not dictating what you do. 3 benefits. First benefit, the daily mindfulness exercises reset my brain and allow me to work for a little bit more fresh with ideas. Second benefit, my mindfulness allows me to recognize procrastination and take control of it and continue to write. Third benefit, especially for review letters, mindfulness allows me to recognize my anxiety. I breathe with it, and then I go back and open the letters as often as it is needed. So, hope this was helpful for you if you are on the fence, if you're struggling with some of the things that I'm struggling. Then, again, even if you're a huge skeptic, and I am, this is a really useful set of skills to have